Happy Monday, 6th graders! Welcome to our second to last installment of the video weekly newsletter. You heard that right. There are only 2 more weeks left in this school year, this week and next week, and then we are done. To celebrate, let's have some student shout-outs. I got some blurry pictures for you again. Our first student shout-out's going to go to Jordan Clark. Jordan is an excellent example of being open-minded. One of the most difficult IB learner profile traits, I think, to embody, and he does an excellent job of it. He is always willing to hear other perspectives and offer other perspectives of his own, as well as go out and do research and learn as much as he can about things that he will then share with us later so that we can be more open-minded too. Thank you, Jordan, for always being willing to share with us and not being afraid to go out there and learn new and different things. Our second student shout out goes to Sophia Ward, who's looking a little stretched out here. Sophia may be quiet, but she is an excellent example of the IB learner profile trait of being a thinker. There's a lot of thinking going on with her, and it's clear when she does writing and when she participates in digital discussion questions on Google Classroom. Sophia doesn't always like to speak to the group out loud, and being online has really helped her show what a great thinker she is, so by allowing her to write out her thoughts instead of saying them out loud. So thank you, Sophia, for sharing your thoughtfulness with us and showing us how to be good thinkers. Last but definitely not least, we've got Elias Roybal. He's getting a shout out this week for being an excellent example of the IB learner profile trait of being an inquirer. Elias has questions about everything. He is not afraid to question what he hears and learns in school and go out and find the answers to things. Thank you, Elias, for always having a question ready to get us thinking about stuff and for always being willing to go and find the answers. You've shown us really well how to be good inquirers. All right, for this week, you've got 3 things going on in your classwork assignments. We are reading The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. As mentioned previously, we're going to be reading a lot this week and next week because we still have 15 chapters to get through. If you have to put something off this week because you just don't have time, read less of The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. You can always finish it a little bit later. But there are a lot of chapters to read this week. We're doing 20 through 25. Just a note, there is a discrepancy between different versions of the book. So some of the books are in chapters 20 through 25, particularly the white and blue one that was the assigned copy in the syllabus. If you have that one, you will be starting at chapter 20. A lot of the other versions of the book somehow are 1 chapter behind at this point, and so they're actually starting at chapter 19. So their 19 to 24 is the same as the 20 to 25 in the white and blue book. If you're using the PDF version or the audiobook, both of them are set as chapters 19 to 24. So it's a little bit confusing, but just keep in mind, if you have the copy of Tom Sawyer that was requested on the syllabus, then you're actually 1 chapter ahead of everybody else. That's going to be you're going to be starting at chapter 20 this week. Almost every other version is actually starting at chapter 19. And in the instructions here for the reading, there's a little bit of a summary of what's going on in the first chapter where you're supposed to start reading. So if you're not sure if you're at chapter 19 or chapter 20, that should help you figure it out. As far as the mandala final draft and presentation go, just keep in mind your final draft is not due until next week on Tuesday the 26th. You will submit your final draft of your mandala. For most of you, that's going to be just a very clear photo of your final draft that you'll submit. If you made it digitally, you can obviously submit the digital copy to Google Classroom. And then your presentations will be scheduled on Thursday or Friday of that week, and we will do scheduling a little later on this week. So at the end of this week, I'll get you scheduled for your presentations. Just a couple of reminders. The mandala must include 5 symbols, must have very little blank space. The symbol should be connected by a pattern, just like the mandalas you saw in the video. And the final draft should have some color in it. For the presentation, the biggest thing you need to remember is that it's the minimum requirement of 2 minutes. So you have to talk about your mandala for at least 2 minutes, and that means you need to write out your presentation beforehand and practice it to see if it's long enough. Your presentation needs to explain the importance of the 5 symbols you included and also explain your artistic process. So things like why you made the choices you did in the mandala, what were the challenges you faced making it, and what things were successful. The length of this is going to be a minimum of 2 minutes, but a maximum of 5. No one should be talking for more than 5 minutes about their mandala. Otherwise, we'll be in our Zoom meeting for hours when we do our presentations. So just make sure that you practice and you get that to a minimum of 2 minutes. So this you're working on this week, but none of it is due until next week. The mandala next Tuesday and the presentation either on Thursday or Friday of next week. The one thing that is due this week is the literary analysis essay. I'm not going to go into too much detail about this because there is a video attached to the assignment where I discuss it for about 15 minutes. So you will need to watch that video to understand what you're supposed to do. But the basic gist is you're going to take your 3 race paragraphs that you previously wrote and use them as body paragraphs in a 5-paragraph essay. So if you've been doing your race paragraphs as they're assigned each week and revising them when I give you comments asking for revisions, then you shouldn't have to actually do too much writing this week. You'd just be writing an introduction paragraph, a conclusion paragraph, and possibly altering the topic sentences of your body paragraphs. But that's it. If you are, of course, behind in the race paragraphs or haven't been doing them at all, you will need to spend a lot more time on this assignment this week. This essay is due on Friday. If you guys have any questions about what's going on this week, please feel free to send me an email or come to my office hours, which are Tuesday afternoon from 2 to 3 or Thursday morning from 9:30 to 10:30. Have a good week.